obviously love talking about me because that's why I have a YouTube channel. It's like pretty much just me getting to talk about me all day long, which is what I'm doing right now. So the things that I want to say about me are never date appropriate. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, so I don't want to tell you about my education. I work in retail, which is not embarrassing, but just kind of boring, so I don't want to tell you about my job. My hobbies include talking about myself to a camera all day, so that's probably not something that you want to hear because then I just sound crazy. And my other hobbies include like binge drinking Diet Coke, sleeping, and listening to Disney podcasts.
And they wonder why men aren't committing these days. What is going on, Warband? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video, and on today's show we're looking at a video submission through the Patreon about why this woman hates dating, because, you know, dating is a difficult task for women, guys. It takes a lot of effort. Yeah. But before we crack into it, guys, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, be sure to subscribe on your way in. Come and join the Discord if you haven't already. And if you'd like to support the channel, guys, be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description. You get exclusive videos and stuff like that. But let's see what she has to say about dating, guys.
But how dating is just like dumb. Like, I'm not talking about if you like know someone and it's like a friend of a friend hooked you up and like there was a mutual meeting and you like went to a party, or like you met like a friend of a friend in like a social setting. That's different because you almost know a little bit about them. I'm talking like Tinder dates or like any online dating, or like those kind of people that give you your numbers like on the street, because I have a whole video about that happening to me. But like,
you guys ever notice how when women receive attention from men, what they try and do is they try and flex it to everybody else as if anyone else cares, right? Because what happens is women project what they want into the rest of the world. Let me give you an example. Let's just say a girl sees a guy who is liked by lots of other guys. She's going to see that and she's going to like that guy more, you see? So what she's going to think to herself is, hey, if I get a lot of guy attention, surely that makes me more valuable. But the answer is, no, it doesn't. If you have a lot of guy friends, if lots of guys are coming after you, we as guys tend to look at that and think, she's not a good investment, right? It could indicate that she has a high body count, all of these other sorts of problems. I just find it funny, man, that they try and flex when they get any sort of attention. You know, but by virtue of the fact that you being a girl, you're going to get attention anyway. It just makes you look like a clown when you flex about it, right?
when you think about it, this is what dating really is. Usually it's a dinner, so you sit down across from someone like this. Like if you were my date, we would awkwardly be sitting like this, hopefully not in my living room, but like somewhere weird and probably quiet, and you just like talk about yourself while simultaneously trying to be interested in the other person. And
I mean, it shouldn't... It's so disgusting, man, that dating looks like that these days. You shouldn't be trying to be interested in the other person. How about you actually be interested in what they have to say? Right? Man, what happened to the days of, like, when you spoke to someone, you listened to what they had to say? Right? Like, you sat down, you had a conversation, and you actually put weight on what the other person said, and you tried to listen to it and understand it. Those days are just way out the window. A lot of these girls, guys, for those of you guys who don't know, I've mentioned this on the channel before. If a girl likes you, if she is attracted to you, she will sleep with you on the first date in 2021. She absolutely will. So you get these poor guys, man. They're going out on dates, like 4, 5, 6 dates with the girl, buying her dinner, stuff like that. And you know what they're getting? They're getting like a kiss on the cheek at the end of the night. Nah, that's not... Guys, I do not take girls to dinners anymore. I really do not. It is a waste of time and energy. There's literally no point. A lot of these girls walking around, guys, they're not wife material. They're not long-term relationship material. And a lot of the time, men are just screwing themselves over by putting in unreciprocated effort. You see?
unless they're like a really interesting person with a really interesting life story, I probably don't care. I obviously love talking about me because that's why I have a YouTube channel. It's like pretty much just me getting to talk about me all day long, which is what I'm doing right now. So the things that I want to say about me are never date appropriate. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, so I don't want to tell you about my education.
Can you imagine if a guy opened up with that? Like, if you're a guy and you opened up with, hey, look, I've got no ambition, I don't know what I'm doing in life, and then you go on to list all of these things that are negative qualities about yourself, right? You see, these people like this, guys, they don't like themselves. And I get a lot of guys who say, Taylor, look, I get what you're saying about the toxicity, Taylor, but I don't want to be a toxic, mean guy to women. Because I get that. A lot of you guys out there, like, you're just good guys. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to have to be mean Like, why should I have to be mean? Like, I enjoy being nice to people. And, like, it's up to you guys, but I just want to point out this. Girls like this, and girls who have negative self-images, which is a lot of them, um, they're not nice to themselves internally. So what happens is when a guy comes along and who's actually nice to them, treats them well, takes them on dinner, they can't respect him. They don't respect him because he is not a reflection of how she feels on the inside. You see what I'm saying? If you go up to a person and they hate themselves, right, and you're, shall we say, reflecting that back at them, you're not the most polite person in the world, they're going to feel like, oh, wow, you're just an open and honest person. But you know what? Girls like this, who have such a fractured identity, if you go up to them and be nice, you're like this disgusting creature, man. Like, you just become like this guy who's creepy and disgusting. Like, giving flowers like to girls like this, man, not going to end well for you, let me tell you.
I work in retail, which is not embarrassing, but just kind of boring, so I don't want to tell you about my job. My hobbies include talking about myself to a camera all day, so that's probably not something that you want to hear, because then I just sound crazy. And my other hobbies include, like, binge drinking Diet Coke, sleeping, and listening to Disney podcasts. None of which are things that you probably want in a potential significant other, because you're a giant human child who's probably going to die of aspartame poisoning in their sleep.
I mean, a lot of guys are married to that already, unfortunately. A lot of guys are stuck in relationships that they literally can't leave because she'll take the kids or half his stuff. And the woman has those sorts of qualities where she just lies around and does nothing and acts like children, which, you know, we guys over here, we know that one a little bit too well, don't we?
I also, don't want to go through my life story. I don't have a bad life story, but it's just there's always awkward moments that I don't want to tell you about. All of 2013, I probably never want to bring up again. I don't want to tell you about why I only have one parent, and I don't want you to sympathize about how I only have one parent, because that's super fucking annoying, and then you're going to think I'm heartless, because I'm probably going to laugh about it, because that's the kind of human being that I am. I don't want to have to tell you that I named my dog after a person I want to be friends with, because it's a...
See, people like this, man, they don't like themselves at all. Families and households that, you know, lack either a father or a mother, really, it does a huge disservice to the child. If you're a person and your dad or your mother isn't around anymore, like, it's not a good experience for any child to go through. They often grow up and they don't like themselves. They've got some sort of identity problem, maybe an aggression problem. Because here's the thing, if you're missing a father in the household, which a lot of households are at the moment, because, you know, one, why would men stick around in a lot of these households? And two, even if they were, they just get kicked out anyway and half their crap gets taken. So, you know, you get a lot of these families where the man isn't around in the house and children just grow up without the ability to set any healthy boundaries at all. Because that's what dads help do, right? They help set healthy boundaries. A lot of guys walking around with no fathers, they let any kind of poison into their life. They let terrible people into their life. They let women into their life that have no business being there. They're not helpful. They're not helping you in any capacity. A lot of times these girls are just rocking up expecting to be taken care of for no good reason at all. But we're going to quickly jump into another video of this same woman here, guys. And look, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I'm sorry. But we're just going to point out exactly how this kind of trend of, you know, this kind of talking right here continues well into their life. And it just becomes a perpetual thing about being a victim, right? So we're just going to crack into this video here. And yeah.
Unless, no, even when I had people over, I didn't lock the door. I didn't care if you stole my shit. I knew you stole my shit. There's only 3 of us. I didn't care. One day, I came home from work. No. Yeah, but, I don't know. I came home from work or school one day, and the roommate had taken my scale out of my closet, out of my room, into the bathroom, and then had weighed themselves, and then got mad at me that my scale had told them they had gained weight. The same people that were purchasing literally pounds of shredded cheese and high-fat ground beef from a Mexican restaurant got mad at me that they took my belongings and my belongings told them they gained weight.
Man, this whole thing about you've always got to be the biggest victim possible to get sympathy and attention, it hurts my head. Like, it actually gives me a headache. This is the second take I've done on this video, guys, because the audio was kind of messed up. And, like, this kind of behavior will continue all throughout this person's life. Guys, if you're seeing a girl and all she does is complain, 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 that's not going to stop. You get me? Like, you're just going to be the next thing that she complains about or has a problem with. And the thing is, it's like, issues like this, who cares, man? Your roommate used your scales and they weren't happy with the result. It's like, you know how there's that saying of, like, water off a duck's back, you know, water just runs off a duck's back, and in other words, you know, it's a comparison for being resilient, right? People like this who grow up without fathers, who grow up without stable households, it removes the resilience, right? It removes the strength of the person, and you get people who are just, they get rewarded for being a victim once, and then the rest of their life is just spent complaining about things that honestly nobody really cares about.
I can't. I wish I could make this up, man. This is like my one wild story that I tell people and everyone's like, I don't understand. I'm like, yo, me neither. This story is like right on par with like, I went to the hospital on New Year's Day with an IV in my arm to a frat house. Like those two stories are like right there with like what was I doing with my life.
You see, guys, you see what I mean about the complaining? Right? About, like, trying to be, like, it's not a race to see whose life is worse. You get me? I don't know, man. This kind of stuff just gives me a headache, but we're going to leave today's video there. Remember, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, you got some thoughts on it, be sure to share your comments, your opinions, your experiences. If you disagree with anything I've said in the video, feel free to do so in the comments, guys. I do try and read them all, but it's getting a bit full on at the moment with the amount of comments, but I do try and read what you guys have to say. Subscribe if you're new and if you're liking the videos, or if you'd like to support the channel, guys, a great way to do that is through the Patreon. You get access to videos and stuff like that, so be sure to check that out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Yo boys, it's Taylor here. I just want to say thank you if you've made it to the end of the video, and if you've been enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe on your way out, join the Discord, and check out the Patreon link in the description. See you boys in the next one.
Talking too much in the gum and they're missing in mind. Had to put myself together, we get my composure and follow my heart. Alright, I used to ride in the back of the bus.